Hi, are you a salesperson struggling to manage all the information around your leads and opportunities? Remembering all of the follow-up actions that you need to complete, like sending emails and completing phone calls, all the things you do to keep your prospects engaged. Well, then you're going to want to learn about sequences. Hi, I'm Adam Lenhart. I'm a senior technology specialist with Microsoft. And today we're going to talk about how you can revolutionize your sales workflow with Dynamics 365 sales sequences. Sales sequences are simply automated workflows that guide you through a series of predefined steps and recommended next best actions to help you manage and close deals. So let's take a look. So we're looking at an opportunity record, and we know that an opportunity record is where we capture all the information related to a potential sale. And we know that there are always several activities that are part of managing an opportunity. And in Dynamics 365 sales, we track those here in the timeline. And we know that we can manually create them. So we could select create activity, add an appointment, add an email, add a phone call, or add a task. But sequences allows us to automate that process. So there are a couple ways to connect sequences to this opportunity. The most straightforward way is to simply go to the ribbon, select sequences, and go ahead and connect a sequence. So this is going to show you all the sequences that are existing in your organization that you have access to. It's showing only the ones related to an opportunity since that's what we're working with. So we're going to go ahead and select one of those. It's going to allow us to assign this to an individual. The default is to assign it to you as the one selecting and connecting the sequence. So we'll go ahead and assign that. And you'll see here in the timeline, we have a whole new set of steps. So these are all the steps that are predefined by your organization to manage and nurture a lead through the sales process. No need to manually add any of these. They're all predefined. It helps make sure nothing falls through the cracks and assigns them to the right people. And as you complete them, as we'll take a look at here in just a second, it moves to the next best action as defined by the sequence. So I could go ahead and mark that complete. You can also make some changes. As we know, in the dynamic world of sales, there are often changes. So maybe you're going to snooze this for a couple hours or a couple days, or maybe assign it to someone else, or maybe even skip this step. But you'll see that when you complete, in this case, the LinkedIn research, it's going to go ahead and add that to the timeline as completed activity and automatically move you to the next step in the sequence, which in this case is to send an introductory email. You can always select the record, and over here on the right-hand side, it's going to show you all the steps of the workflow and give you a little graphical indicator to show your progression through the sequence. And as you may know, we can also look at the work list, which is collectively showing you all of the different tasks that you need to complete. So you can see that it automatically placed that introductory email as the next step in the sequence right in our work list. We could complete that one, move through, and it's going to send us to the next item in the work list. So not only is it managing activities related to an opportunity through the use of the work list, it's showing you all the tasks that you need to complete and help you work down that list and make sure nothing falls through the cracks. So now that we've shown how you can use these in your daily operations, whether you've attached it manually, whether it's been attached by an assignment rule, or even the existence of a record in a sequence, let's talk about how we can set up those sales sequences. So in order to do that, we need to go to Sales Insight Settings. So we know Sales Insight Settings is where we manage things related to the Sales Accelerator, the Sales Assistant, and you'll see right over here in the menu, it says Sequences. So we're going to go ahead and select that. And let's go ahead and look at the one that we just looked at, and then we'll go back and build one from scratch. So we're going to select the opportunity nurturing, and you're going to see some familiar things here. You can see that the first step was complete the research in LinkedIn, which we looked at and completed, and then it moved us on to that introductory email. And you can select any one of those and get some details over here on the right. If at any point you want to edit a sequence that is live, you simply come in, deactivate that sequence, select edit sequence, and it moves you into a mode of editing. And that'll make a little more sense when we go and create one here in just a minute. The other thing I want to point out here too is that we can look at this information from the perspective of the sequence. So we looked at it from the perspective of a particular opportunity and all the steps that were involved. But if we go here and look at the sequence as we are now, you can see all of the different opportunities that are connected to this sequence. So here's the opportunity that we just connected. It's at the top of the list. You'll see with every opportunity, we have a visual indicator of the progress that we've made through it, the current step that it's on, and the number of days that have elapsed since that step has been assigned. So a really, really great tool, not only for a sales user, but a sales manager to be able to come in and see all of the sequences that are connected to this, all the opportunities that are connected to this particular sequence and where they are in the process. And I'll also point out here that you can connect an opportunity from here. So if one fell through the cracks, or you've just added a new one that maybe doesn't need to meet a certain criteria for an automatic connection or an automatic assignment, you can come in here and connect multiple opportunities at one time to this particular sequence. But let's go back and create one from scratch. So you'll see right here, it says new sequence. So when we do that, it's going to give us a couple options. Number one, it does deliver some templates out of the box for you that may be suitable starting points and save you some work. For example, setting up a meeting for a product demo request, or any sequence steps related to account renewals or webinar follow-ups. We're going to start here from blank. And we'll simply name it. And we're going to go ahead and call this one Adams sequence, and we'll make sure that we give it a number. And we can enter a description for it. And here I just want to point out, we've been looking at sequences related to opportunities, but you can relate it to 4 record types: the lead, the opportunity, the account, or the contact. So any steps that you have, or sequence steps that you want your sales folks to walk through, you can predefine all those steps and relate it to any one of these record types. We'll just stick with opportunity and select next. And it takes us into the workspace. This is a really easy graphical workspace for you to go ahead and create these sequences. The plus sign, very self-explanatory. You simply select that, and it allows you to add an action. So these are all the different categories of actions and type of actions that you can add. So you'll see some steps here that should look very familiar to you, things that you would customarily do as you're working through an activity list for an opportunity. Things like sending an email, or completing a task, or sending an automated email, and even the LinkedIn research. So let's just start there, since we looked at that earlier, and we'll go ahead and select that as our first step. We can select the plus sign to add an additional step. And here, let's talk about adaptive sequence functionality. So that comes into play when we select conditions. So these are simply conditions that, when they are met, moves you to a different stage or assigns a different set of sequence steps. So for example, a field value. So let's say, for example, that a budget amount now on the opportunity now exceeds $10,000. And if it does, then you'll see we have a branch. So it adapts based on the update of that particular field. So if yes, we'll go ahead in this case and send an automated email. And we've got some steps here, and we'll give that email a title. We'll just call it follow-up. And then you can go in and select an email template. So again, completing a lot of work for you. You don't have to write the email. You can select a follow-up email, and we're just going to go ahead and select a generic one and apply that template. And then you'll see that it gives us a new plus sign to complete the step that is next based on the details of that email. So we go ahead and select yes. And if we go to conditions, you'll see now that we have an email selected, it's going to give us some options related to that email. So for example, did they open it in a certain number of days? So we'll say they opened it within 3 days. And then based on that, we're going to go ahead and complete a task. And we'll say that we're going to schedule a meeting with them. So you can see it's adapting based on the completion of steps, based on activity by the end user in terms of whether they open an email or not. Maybe they click a link in an email, and that drives a different process. So if we go back to our initial condition, the field value, if it's not been updated to over $10,000, maybe we want to exit that. Maybe we want to go ahead and complete a task to close the opportunity. Maybe we want to restart it later when we've got some more information about that. If they have not opened the email, then maybe we want to set a wait time, and we'll say we'll wait 3 days, and then we can complete another step. We could exit the process. We could do something like advance to another sequence. So another adaptive step in the process. So let's say they haven't opened the email in 3 days. So we want to go ahead and select another sequence, and then that's called no response. And then it will automatically attach a set of steps that we like to walk through, that the organization has defined, the way that we are going to respond to people that do not respond to our emails. And then at any point, you can go ahead and save this particular sequence when you've completed it. So you simply save it and then activate it, and then it's a live sequence that can be attached to a record, just as we looked at the beginning. So that completes the major steps of our sequence video. So what we did was we looked at connecting a sequence. We talked about managing actions in a work list, and then we build a sequence. And what these allow us to do is focus on high value activities with automation. You don't have to manually add them. It makes sure things don't fall through the cracks by doing things automatically in a way that your organization has defined. It helps you improve engagement and conversations with your customers by making sure that you're doing the things that you need to nurture that lead, not only doing them, but doing them at the right time in the right step of the process. And this leads to better sales outcomes and stronger relationships with your customers. So thank you for watching this video.